Okay, go ahead, Miriam, sorry.
Right. So thank you for the questions. We have several, and I'm actually going to unmute David, who has asked many of the questions, just in case that we don't answer it correctly. You can let us know if you need more details, um, or anyone else that would like to speak. Feel free. So what we have, if that works. Otherwise, I'll mute you again, or you can mute yourself. So basically, the first question was, how do we generate proposal to you suitable for PyCross? Okay, I provided the answer, brief answer, but if you want to expand, feel free, Ferrani.
Oh, sorry, there's like some background. Like, okay, can you? No. If you
Okay.
can tell. Do you want to share the answer for so we all can?
Okay, yeah, sure. So what we've done is in the Chime pipeline, we do have PyCross as an option. So it can run, if you select the proper database, the green genes, then it can run within our system. But we can also, basically we're giving you the OTU table as well that you can use if you want to go into the Galaxy server for PyCross and Masslean. And the Masslean file preparation will take some edits, but it can work as well. The other question, can we edit the metadata or resubmit the metadata with new parameters for reanalysis? And I know that you had a slide for that, Ronnie. Maybe you can show it.
Yeah, sure. So you can, if you use the job resubmission. So yeah, so we have this. So if you want to reanalyze your data, you can put the job ID in here, and it will ask. I don't have screenshots, but it will ask you if you want to change your metadata or not. And if you do, you can. It'll show. This is an example of an error, but it can also change the metadata as you're going through the process to if you want to change it, and then it will take you to the parameters page and you can change the parameters there. So that it just skips over needing to actually like upload the data because it will know like which data set you're referring to, but then you can edit the metadata that you already uploaded, and then you can change the parameters for the pipeline as well.
Okay. The next question is our reverse sequences, and that one you answered about the quality. The next one is why is it that Nephele doesn't provide more options for diversity, like Chow or inverted Simpson and Shannon, etc.
Um,
And yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say that we are planning to add in the future. Hopefully, I can say that we're to
Yeah,
add some
go ahead.
additional downstream analysis, like as a standalone option, because so where you can choose what you would like to run. That will just take the biome file from any of the 16S pipelines, so that you can just submit that and run. We think that's a little bit better than tacking it on at the end of the analysis pipeline, because for example, like as I talked about today, like sometimes you don't know how to set the sampling depth or any of the other parameters unless you see the result, right? So we're definitely planning to add that. I think we'll probably start out with downstream analysis, diversity analysis based using the new Chime 2 diversity analyses, which has all of those diversity measures.
Right. In addition, we mentioned in the tutorial that is available to bring your files into PhyloSeq, and in there you can use more of their features as well to plot the diversity.
Yeah, that's true. So on our tutorials page.
The other question was from Sarah. Where do you set the sampling depth?
I don't know if I have a slide, but because I don't have the options, but let me see. So the sampling depth is set right now. It's set, like as I said, we're going to change and we'll have an up and coming pipeline, but right now it's set just as a parameter for the analysis of the pipelines. I think here we go. So you can't see it here, but it would be on this tab that says analysis. So for both the Chime and Data 2 and from other, there's a field where you can set the sampling depth for the downstream analysis there. By default, it's set to I think like 10,000. So if you don't put anything in that box, it'll be 10,000. But you can put, as long as it's a positive number, you can put it in that field there.
Okay. The next one is if the platform works with Chime 1 or Chime 2, and because Chime 2 seems to be optimized. My answer for that was that the Chime 2 is used for some of the tasks for like the code adapt, for example, and we are using more of it as well in the development pipeline, in the pipeline that we have in development for extra analysis. So we will be showing more of Chime 2, but the heart of it is actually data 2. In Chime 2, they use data 2 and deblur, and we have created a pipeline for data 2 separately of Chime 2, which is it runs best.
Yeah, so the author of Data 2 has said that it runs more efficiently if you run the actual ARC, because underneath Chime 2 is just running the Data 2 ARC package, and so we just run that package directly because it's more efficient to do it that way.
And Sarah also asked if more fields, the heat map was also available in the Chime pipeline output, and the answer is yes, it has been incorporated, so you can use it. This one, let's see if we can get clarification. It says, I had issue in collapsing the OTU table for graphics and other analysis. I had to import the biome data into Shine 2 in Python and collapse afterwards. So not sure what this means, honestly. Maybe David, if you can, we can talk after. Feel free to email us, or you can expand more. I can unmute if you want to clarify.
So she will be like for the whole duration.
Let us know if you can clarify.
Kind of be internal person from the division.
I'll mute you again. Well, we can talk after. The next one from Juliaxis, it says there's a hard disk limitation. That's a question. And for Chime and Data 2, we haven't seen any issues that I know of with limitation on space, or what do you think, Purani? Have you
No,
heard of
so
any of the
for large data, yeah, like Chime and Data 2 seem to work pretty well, even with very large data sets. We haven't seen, we have seen some issues with the mother pipeline and using large data sets, and actually not because of the hard disk, but because of memory. So we always recommend if you have a very large data set that you should try running Chime or Data 2 instead. We have had people submit like really big data sets, and as far as I know, the Chime and Data 2 pipelines haven't failed just because of the size of the data set so far.
Okay. And the question that David asked earlier, now I understand. When you're asking about the graphics, you mean the heat map that you're trying to collapse to species or genus, and you're having trouble. And because you clarify that, for example, lactobacillus. So yes, you can. There is a small video, right, Purani?
Yeah, I have a little video. If it doesn't work for you, then you can send it to us, and I can see if why it didn't work. Because I've done it a few times. Let me go to the end here. Yeah, so we do have like a little video that shows like how to collapse the rows, but I've used it lots and it seems to work with. But if you're having problems, you can, if you send us a support email, like we can take a look at it and see.
I remember I had that trouble, and because I was using Safari, it works well in Chrome.
Yeah, it does work best in Google Chrome or in Firefox. Either of those, it works very well.
Okay. Well, I think that's all for questions. But if you have more, please feel free to contact us. We have our contact us email here in the screen at the bottom, nephelesupport@nih.gov. You can also go to our site and click there directly.
Yeah, yep. And before I go, I wanted to say, like, these are all the people, I wanted to recognize all the people that work on our site. You probably, many of you maybe had your questions answered by Conrad. He answers a lot of our questions, and Louis. But we also have developers, Jennifer, Philip, and Sam. And Carlin does the communications for us as well.
Thank you, Purani. So again, this video will be available on the Nephele tutorial page. Actually, Miriam, were you going to say something?
Right, I was going to say, David, I appreciate you mentioned also you had issues with PiloSeq. That is perhaps a little bit beyond the scope of Nephele, but we could try to answer some questions. So feel free to reach us through the email.
Great.
Thanks.
So again, thank you for using Nephele. Nephele is doing well, and then we can keep working on building great Nephele because of you. So I appreciate you using it, and then I would like to actually know how your feedback on this webinar itself. Was it useful or not? If you have a question that we haven't covered, please let us know. If there's a good question we'd like to cover, we can plan another webinar in the future.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.